Hey everybody, Matty here with Altcoin Buzz. Happy Thursday. Hope you're having a great one. Today we are addressing directly all of the fallout that CRO has been receiving. Many of you guys called me out in the comments yesterday. You were talking about how we'd not discussed the fact that a lot of the earn interest rates were drastically slashed, kind of right in line and right in sync with this 5 million user milestone that we talked about yesterday in more of a positive context, admittedly, in terms of a celebration. We, of course, are users of CRO as well as business partners, quite frankly. So we're going to be discussing specifically so many of these rates that have fallen here. We'll talk you through our thoughts on the subject. We'll be discussing the fact that Chris Marcellik has directly come out and addressed this with an update, as has Crypto.com. We'll take a look at what they're doing to try to remedy the situation, including an upcoming AMA and Ask Me Anything here, hosted by the CEO of the company. We'll be discussing Justin Sun's enthusiasm for BTT BitTorrent and look at specifically the advantages associated with BTFS, which is the BitTorrent file system, and how that measures up to more, I guess, traditional cloud storage and just file sharing systems such as Google, Dropbox, and Microsoft OneDrive, but also Filecoin specifically if we're talking about the world of cryptocurrency. Then we're also celebrating the fact that Brave browser has now become the top rated browser on the Google Play Store. And you have here the head of marketing and growth that's celebrating that with over 200,000 votes. They're at a 4.8 star rating out of 5. Not too bad. Guys, if you like this kind of content, Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrency, be sure to like and subscribe. All right, before launching into all of that controversy that I alluded to, let's take a look at the markets here on CoinGecko.com. For a second day in a row, we're down. We're down 1.3% right now to $363.0 billion. That is the total cryptocurrency market cap. A lot of altcoins seemingly down today. Bitcoin is only down 0.7%, but many other altcoins, really from Ethereum all the way down the list, down 2% or more, sometimes 3 or 4 or 5%. Bitcoin right now sitting at $11,324 with a slightly increased dominance as a result of the fact that the altcoins have been bleeding more than Bitcoin. And that number right now sits at 57.8%. All right, let's get right into the drama here. Yesterday, we were celebrating the fact, as per this tweet here, it highlights the fact that Crypto.com has reached 5 million users. This is good news. It still remains good news, by the way. But many of you, called me out, and perhaps you were looking for more of criticism or a critique on the fact that, by celebrating this, they're also in sync, actually drastically reducing their earn rates and their staking percentages. This is true. It's not something that we discussed yesterday, only because that wasn't the focus, but we're not avoiding it. And I hope that this video today is a testament to that, because we want to be objective. We want to be candid and transparent with our coverage, of course. So if you're not up to speed, there was a whole set of newly released percentages and annual staking and earn rates that were released. Some of these were pretty drastic in terms of the adjustments. So CRO staking, for example, went all the way from 14% to 1%. If you have the CRO, the Crypto.com app, you can see here, hold this up to the camera here. I'm not giving away any numbers here, but some of these are the new earning rates, and they've been, like I said, they've been pretty dramatically reduced, to be fair. And I have no problem saying that. That's the reality. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. In particular, there were a couple of comments that I guess you guys were calling me out. Overall, I think it was positive. You guys, by the way, appreciate the feedback on the new format. I think that was going pretty well for everybody, and you guys enjoyed it. But here, I want to highlight some of these in particular. So crazy praying mantis, rather. Crypto.com celebrated passing 5 million users by dropping their earn percentage on CRO from 14% to 1% and exchange stake rate from 20% to 6%. And it seems like their users are now heading for the exit fast. You really need to talk about what CDC just did. You ignored it completely. Here's another comment from Robert Terlac. Not a word about how Crypto.com business practices are more volatile than BTC and USDT. Okay, so specifically, let's go back and take a look at CoinGecko.com for just a second. I think there is a lot of, outrage is too strong a word, but there's been some negative feedback in terms of these very rapidly adjusted rates, because again, this was kind of an overnight thing. All of a sudden, if you're a member of Crypto.com, as I am, you got an email alerting you to the fact that a lot of these earning rates, a lot of these staking rates have been drastically reduced. In some cases, the reduction are, they're double-digit reduction in terms of percentage drops. So that's not ideal. People have obviously voted with their dollars here to a certain extent. And you do have some people that are selling their CRO right now. It's down 3.3% in these last 24 hours to just under 14 cents US. And if you take a look at the landscape in the last 6 months or so, that's a relative low because CRO has been able to build itself up pretty nicely over these last 6 months or so over the course of 2020. And you can see that right now we may be in a local low, but we're still actually doing pretty well if you take a look at the 6-month comprehensive snapshot there. So look, they're not immune to criticism and they don't want to ignore it either. So you have the leadership of crypto.com. I mentioned Chris yesterday, Chris Marcellek, the CEO of the company. He's responding directly to some of your concerns. New CRO staking rates. We always listen to the community and quickly fix what is not working. Let's talk about this and much more on Wednesday during our community AMA Ask Me Anything. He is specifically referencing this tweet here from crypto.com, which stated, we heard the community feedback and updated CRO staking rate. So instead of 1%, you're now getting 2% flexible. Instead of 2%, you're getting 4% for the 1 month term, from 4% to 6% for the 3 month term, and from 6% to 10% for the 6 month term. Longer notice will be given for important changes in the future. And I think that's probably the most important thing here. Whether or not changes are implemented for the better or for the worse, I think the notice period is something that rattled a lot of people the wrong way here. They also had the following to remind you of. We'll host an AMA, again, Ask Me Anything, with Chris Marcellek, the CEO of the firm. That is happening on the 21st of October at 3 p.m. HKT, which I believe is Hong Kong time. More info is available on blog.crypto.com. So again, some of the old rates, some of the new rates, this is directly in response to the community feedback here. And again, outrage is a strong word, but I think for a lot of people, they were rubbed the wrong way with some of this news. So it's always important in this space to be responsive to your community because obviously that base is what constitutes the value of your project. That's what they're doing here. Look, I'm not being an apologist for crypto.com, but this is just the state of affairs. So I do agree with you guys. However, I think in the case of these latest changes, I think they were done too rapidly, too quickly, and without sufficient notice. So we'll stay on top of this story, guys. Again, we're going to be covering that AMA once it rolls around on the 21st of August. Interestingly, I have noticed that for a lot of the rates, the stable coins have not changed. So you're still getting double-digit percentage rates in terms of in terms of staking on the stable coins. But let's be honest, a lot of people don't really want to stake stable coins. They want to exchange those for cryptocurrencies and either trade, whether it's day trading or whether it's medium-term trading, or use those stable coins for other purposes. So stable coins are not typically something that you'd want to lock up for 3-month periods or more. However, just as an observation, I noticed that those rates aren't really changing. They're still pretty solid. So the tethers of the world are still giving pretty good returns. It's really the CRO that was affected kind of negatively, I guess, is the popular consensus. So there you have it, guys. Never ignoring your feedback or your opinions. Let us know your thoughts about the ongoing issue here in the comments below. We'll continue the discussion for sure. Okay, Justin Sun is back in the news. It's been a while since we've covered our favorite marketing head honcho over at Tron and BTT, BitTorrent as well, at Justin Sun Tron on Twitter. Here's what he has to say about BitTorrent. We're going to launch into a discussion about not only BitTorrent, but about their new file sharing service. So, 1 of 11, BitTorrent is arguably the most disruptive tech in the brief history of data itself. Wow. And changed the internet since its start. It's fitting that for so long, the face of peer-to-peer technology, BTT has been unapologetically peerless. An argument can be made that BitTorrent is to decentralized storage what Bitcoin is to finance. And put simply, is BTT the Bitcoin of decentralized storage? Let's explore how BTT may be the Bitcoin of data for 4 reasons. Reason number 1, BitTorrent is the pioneer of decentralization. Satoshi cited BTT as an example of a P2P network that might give a digital currency true value. Lessons of BTT gave life to Bitcoin's value. Reason number 2, fragmented competitors never threaten its infrastructure. Just like Bitcoin, BTT changed the world with its immediate large data transfer capabilities, adopted immediately by companies like Blizzard Entertainment, Facebook, and Twitter. Reason number 3, BitTorrent is on the right side of history. Just like Bitcoin, BTT led the ideology of decentralization. Many credit Uber and Airbnb for implementing BTT's decentralized ingenuity. BTT freed data and united everyone on the internet. Everyone is equal on BitTorrent. And finally, reason number 4 here from Justin, BTT breaks the rules of data sharing. Bitcoin does this for value sharing. Today, we often highlight the differences between us as humans. BTT transcends the superficial and awakens us to the commonality that all people share as human beings. I think that last one is a little bit too kumbaya for my sensibilities, but there you go. That's Justin's opinion. Let's now discuss in a little bit more technical detail here BTFS, so specifically BitTorrent file system. We're also going to compare and contrast it against more kind of household names, file sharing systems, and cloud storage solutions that you may be familiar with. But cloud storage is absolutely massive here at the top of the article. It was valued in 2019 at $46.1 billion, and it's projected to grow in terms of CAGR by 21.9% for the next several years up until 2027. So a compound annual growth rate of nearly 22% is pretty much unheard of. This is very much an industry that it's just clear it's poised for absolutely explosive, consistent, and reliable growth. Okay, so specifically the BitTorrent file system, BTFS, is a blockchain-based network that supports the storage and sharing of digital content through a content-addressable, decentralized file system. It's a system that's currently in the process of disrupting the cloud storage sector and may be poised, at least in the opinion of this author, always take it with a grain of salt, but may be poised to transform how individuals and businesses handled data. It tackles many of the main issues with popular cloud storage services of today, including the centralization of trust, that is an important variable, the lock-in effect, and low fault tolerance. Since these platforms rely on centralized servers, they can easily be censored or rendered unavailable, while users were unable to easily transfer their files to more reliant and resilient systems, that is until now. So in addition to being expensive, traditional cloud storage services such as Google Drive and Microsoft OneDrive can be easily breached, leading to data loss or privacy concerns, while the firms that operate them can be shut down at any time by the parent firm or government, particularly in countries prone to government censorship. And check this out. I think what's really appealing to me is the whole dollars and cents argument. As it stands, rental costs are 23 BTT per GB gigabyte per month, or roughly $10 a month for 1 terabyte of uncensorable redundant storage. This is far cheaper than other redundant file storage options and about 6 times cheaper than that offered by IPFS. So we're here on cryptodaily.co.uk and we're comparing how BTFS, the BitTorrent file system, is actually not only comparable but in some ways superior to some of the more traditional file sharing solutions that you're already familiar with, the Google Drives, the OneDrives, even the Dropboxes of the world. So BTFS uses a network of guard nodes and an escrow service to keep users and their files safe. On the other hand, BTFS allows users to upload their files and the system automatically splits them into 30 separate shards, which are hashed and hosted by 30 selected hosts, ensuring no single user can has access to the entire file. Storage renters can choose their hosts based on several parameters like available storage space, uptime, and proximity. Since these files are decentralized, they cannot be censored or forcibly deleted by external parties, as the BTFS guard ensures files can always be retrieved even if too many hosts are inaccessible. So undoubtedly the security of BTFS is superior to, again, the traditional OneDrives, the traditional Google Drives. But here's a question for you, just practically and pragmatically speaking. If you guys have top secret, if you were trusted with some kind of dossier, let's say it came in the form of a thumb drive and it was the Pentagon's, UFO disclosure files, something that was absolutely top secret for your eyes only, hypothetically. Would you ever store that on a OneDrive? Would you ever store that on a Google Drive or Dropbox? To my knowledge, the sensitive materials, whether it's financials in the real world now, whether it's company financials, whether it's audit data, whether it's what have you, personal consumer data, that kind of stuff, provided we have sort of a choice to make, we never typically store that stuff on cloud storage solutions. It's just not something that we trust by default. So I think what BTFS here is trying to do is really change the way we think about some of these storage solutions, and they're offering something purportedly that is competitive, not only competitive with the traditional players in the space, that is also much more secure. So that's going to change our mindset in terms of what we can store on some of these cloud storage solutions. Because personally speaking, I'll tell you right now, I don't store any sensitive material on the cloud. All of my settings on my cell phone, on my computer, cloud storage, automated backups, off. Everything is off 100%. Call me paranoid, but I never trust my storage solutions to save or back up automatically for me. Never. And the comparison has also been made here, as you can imagine, to Filecoin, which has been touted as a major competitor to BTFS, but it has repeatedly failed to deliver on its development milestones, mostly due to unforeseen technical challenges. Right now, the platform is currently operating an incentivized testnet, which sees users compete by contributing storage space to earn part of a Filecoin token reward pool. Filecoin currently claims its mainnet will be launched soon, but this has suffered numerous delays already. Look at these guys taking jabs at Filecoin. Obviously a very slanted, a very biased perspective, but understandably so. And by comparison, the article continues, BTFS is already up and running its mainnet and has integrated with the Tron blockchain ecosystem, which means users are free to download the BTFS client and begin renting storage or earning rewards for hosting files. I guess the rewards earning as well is another angle that's pretty appealing to a lot of people entering into this space. Unlike the Filecoin testnet, which is clunky and challenging to use, BTFS was designed with an extremely intuitive user interface, making it easy for users to start renting storage or begin earning BTT tokens by becoming a host. BTFS has also produced extensive documentation to help further simplify the process. So look, if you're Justin Sun, you're extremely bullish, unapologetically so, about BitTorrent, BTT. If you're the average person, you can look at this and you say, hey, there is a use case here that does make sense. That compound annual growth rate at 21.9%, that's pretty impressive by any measure, whether you're talking about cryptocurrency or any other industry. So right now, not really that there's any immediate positive news, but BTT does happen to be up 4.5% on the day. So sitting right now at 0.035 cents, I believe that's the math, $0.00035. Again, up 25%, up 4.5% in a down market, a market which is down today 1.2%. Not too bad. This for me is not the kind of play, never financial advice, by the way, caveat here, disclaimer. This is not the kind of play for me that's a short-term move, but if you do share that vision that Justin Sun has, if you do agree with some of the analysts that we're looking at an industry that's going to grow annually by 21% per year for the next 7 years, BitTorrent could be a real competitor in the space. There are more and more, I shouldn't say more and more problems that are emerging with Google Drive, with OneDrive, with the Dropboxes of the world. But, there are some security limitations there. I think the way that people use some of those services keep those limitations in mind. But look, maybe Google and Microsoft will just come out and fix their offerings, fix their products and make them more resilient. Are they going to move to blockchain? I don't think so. And are they going to be trusted by the general public? Probably not either. But look, the decision is yours. I do think BitTorrent has a bright future. I'm not going to cheerlead to the extent that Justin Sun has on the issue here, but I think they have some good days ahead. We'll have to stay tuned. Just in closing here, guys, and very quickly, we want to celebrate the fact that Brave browser has become a top-rated browser on Google Play Store. This article here by David, we're not going to go through this, but I'll link to this in the description below. Recent updates have revealed that the Brave browser now tops the chart of browsers in the Google Play Store. And I want to highlight this tweet here by Des Martin, who is the head of marketing and growth over at Brave. Brave on Android is now the top-rated browser on the Play Store, ahead of Chrome with a 4.1 rating, Edge with a 4.5 rating, and DDG, which admittedly I've never heard of, with a 4.7 rating, Firefox at 3.9, and others. Time to make the switch. And of course, with Brave browser, which by the way I'm using now, I always use for my videos. I'm a pretty big fan just based on the simplicity, number one, and the customization. You can also retrieve rewards in the form of BAT tokens. That's always nice. So with over 230,000 votes here, they have a rating of 4.8 stars out of 5. Kudos to Des and the rest of the Brave team. I've been using this product for a couple of years now, and I'm pretty impressed. Like I've said previously, I'm somewhat of a paranoid person on the technical side. I'm not a very techie person. I'm not a programmer or a developer, but I do have my concerns. I'm always thinking about spyware. I'm always thinking about Big Brother, that kind of thing. I don't know if Brave is perfect. I can't launch into the code and dissect it to that level, but I think it's better than some of the other options out there. So, hey, once again, kudos to Brave. That's very, very nice to see. That about wraps it up for today, everybody. Do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels, of course, and keep checking back into altcoinbuzz.io for all the latest. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead, like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell to receive notifications. Best of luck. If you choose to invest on this Thursday, let me know about your thoughts about our discussion earlier with CRO CRO with crypto.com. Again, we are never apologists for a project. We try to report the news objectively as much as possible. And yeah, they did take some missteps here in this latest press release. They could have at least alerted us with more notice to some of those changes. But let us know whether you feel the response is sufficient. Let us know what you think about that upcoming AMA. Of course, we're going to stay on top of that as well. So best of luck, guys, if you choose to invest. Once again, stay safe out there. And as always, we hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.